to a sacred place where we speak our truth, share our knowledge, and shatter limiting beliefs. We are your hosts, Vanessa and Isabel.
All right, so I'm definitely ready to shatter some more limiting beliefs here today. How about you?
Yes.
Let's do it. Share some more of our truth. I'm so excited because we've been able to share a lot of our journey so far, where we started, or how we met, okay, and then living in Thailand, Chiang Mai, Thailand for 2 years, starting our first business, working through our challenges, getting together, expansion. After Chiang Mai, Thailand, we discussed in the previous episodes. What did we do after Chiang Mai?
We went to London.
Yes, we went to
our
London.
First investment, and then after London, we went to Austin, where we built our first headquarters, and we realized we're not office people.
Yes.
From then, we went back to Florida, and then COVID happened.
Ooh.
Dun dun dun. And we were in Florida for about a year and a half. Mm-hmm. And we were then able to, after that, we went to Europe for some time.
Had the Euro tour. We did, as we were traveling, we had to do 20 stick in the nose tests because it was a whole pandemic thing, but it was beautiful. Yes. And then from Europe, And then
from Europe, we decided that we really wanted to focus on something, which we're going to be diving deeper into this episode here, because this transition is a catalyst to what we are now creating. It's a catalyst to really being fully transparent and authentic with what we're building again, which is a beautiful thing. And from Europe, we went to Mexico.
Yeah, absolutely. Mexico was a special year that we had there. So we were transitioning we spoke about Ivy Leads Our Business and how we started to build systems because we made the decision to sell the business because we have a bigger purpose. And we kind of fell into that business, and it was beautiful, and it was so many lessons learned and such an incredible experience, and growth that took place those years. But we knew in both of our hearts that we were meant for more and a bigger purpose, right? And when we came together, we said, what is that? We were reflecting, asking ourselves questions like, what is something, a vision and mission we can stand behind for all of our life? Like that it won't change, and that is everything that we're passionate about, that's within us, like our purpose within us, and that we feel incredible about. And we came to the realization that it's both empowering people and impacting people to achieve both personal freedom as well as financial freedom in their lives. So that is our vision and mission, our greater vision and mission together, is to inspire, whether it's through education, experiences, connections, community. Events, community, to help others, whether it's through also sharing our story, and that's part of what we're doing here in the season 1 of the IBVB Show, to achieve personal freedom in their lives, all right, which we look at personal freedom as you're not suffering within, right? You're fulfilling your purpose. You feel fulfilled, at peace, you're happy, and you're breaking all the chains and limiting beliefs that you may have within to be personally free, and as well as financially free, because that's important as well, right? What does financial freedom mean to you, and why is it so important as well?
Yeah, we live in an economic planet. Whether we like it or not, okay, if you want to eat food, if you want to move and see new places, sure, you can rely on relationships, you can rely on family, you can rely on your skill sets. But at the end of the day, we live in an economic planet, and in order to get on that train, in order to get on that plane, in order to get on to the next places, you need income. You need to make money. You need to produce and earn money, and learning how to leverage money in investing. We're very big believers in investing. So investing means allowing money to actually create money. Not you physically having to work for the rest of your life and trade time for money, but actually allowing the systems in place in the universe right now and all of the financial vehicles accessible to us, because we live in a time where technology is accessible to us and education is accessible to us, being able to leverage that and put it to work.
Yeah.
So eventually you can have completely time freedom, the ability to say, I want to go here because I want to do that, this and that, and no one can say, oh, but don't you have to be here, or don't you have that thing, or
And money doesn't get in the way either, because
Exactly.
you hear a lot of people have excuses of, I can't do that because I don't have the resources as far as the financial resources.
or I can't go because I only have 2 days off this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oof.
So we definitely are about options and just being able to live the way you want to live without having the restrictions in place to allow yourself to move freely and express yourself freely. And one of the quotes that I always share and that has hit me ever since I read it in the book, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, he said, love is denied expression by poverty. Love is denied expression by poverty. Well, what did he mean by that? You know, if you're living in poverty, sometimes you can't express love the way you want to give love. You know, obviously, there's a lot of ways to give love without having finances or those type of resources, but there's also a lot of ways to give love with that, like, okay, buying your family groceries or taking them on a vacation at a 5-star hotel because I'm not restricted. You know, I don't have to think, oh, where can I do this for 2 weeks based on my budget, or can I even do that? So those are the things that we're talking about, and I know those two things are extremely important for us in our lives, and to be able to provide in that way as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it didn't start here. Okay,
Yeah.
It did not start here. And just coming from my background, my parents are not super wealthy. My family is not super wealthy. I didn't come with like a silver spoon. We came from Venezuela, one of the richest countries in the world. Okay? And now it's kind of weird, the situation over there. But the richness, the wealth, it's in our blood. And I'm proud of where I come from, because it has proven to me that through hard work, through being authentic and with integrity and having the right work ethic, you can persevere anything. Okay, my parents came here with nothing. Okay, and with everything that they have now, I'm so proud of them. I'm proud of who I am, and I'm proud to be their daughter. And I'm excited to share that with not only our family, when, you know, and our kids and everything. It's like, because I didn't grow up like that, it's more of a motivation to learn more about it. I don't know all the answers. Absolutely not. But is there successes that I can follow? Are there proof and evidence and ridiculous amounts of backlog and historical evidence that, yes, you can come from nothing to wealth? Absolutely. And that is the journey that I'm willing and able to commit to for the betterment of our lives and whoever wants to learn more about it.
Absolutely. And a similar thing, you know, my parents, well, my mom, being from Mexico, grew up very poor, you know, and she came to America. I don't know how, well, I think she came to America, and my dad, it's not like they started out wealthy. They didn't come from families with a lot of money, but together they made something happen, you know, from nothing
Yeah.
to then eventually, I know a little bit, my dad, he was in the stock market, he was selling cars in the dealership, but my mom, she's into fashion, and her personality is very outgoing, okay, those that know her. And, while my dad was working, she would take some jewelry from like the swap shop or something, and she went to salons and started selling, to the people door to door. And then eventually she was making more money than my dad was at work. So they're like, okay, we need to do something with that. So they started from the very bottom, then started at like the swap shop in Florida, their first store.
Sunrise.
Wake up at sunrise. You know the whole story, you know?
It's so good. That deserves a whole Netflix documentary special. Hint,
Yeah.
hint, hint, hint.
So as a kid, I witnessed, the hard work from
Yeah.
both of them as well, from nothing, but, putting in that work and being creative, and they were entrepreneurs, and they grew their business and grew their business. And, as a kid, I looked at us like we're super wealthy. Like, we were always on vacations. My parents would give us whatever, we wanted. We never lacked in anything. So I saw that, but now understanding what tremendous wealth is as well. Well, and also at the same time, the arguments that I did hear was still about money. It was still about money in the household, and it was like, why? It was, so I know that financial strain is a huge thing in people's relationships and marriages. That's like the number one reason for divorce is like the finances. So, I experienced that, and I know now what like true wealth is, like passive income, compared to like I'm still exchanging my time. Even if I'm a business owner or I'm working for a company and making money, it's like if that all goes away or times change or the recession happens, like it did happen during our parents while we were kids,
everything,
and everything can go back to zero. Well, what have we built and how have we invested our money so that there's passive income still coming in, dependent of the economy, So I feel like both of our experiences growing up, seeing our parents that we love so much and we cherish and we're so grateful for, because that's who made, us each individually who we are today, and like the passion and love that comes from us. I feel like we put those together and we really learned the amazing things from our parents, but also can see, how we can do things different to set up in a different light as well.
Absolutely. And, going back to the first business that we built, we learned what it took to make money, how to sell, how to not just only take care of ourselves, but then now we have an entire flock of people that their lives are dependent on our business. And that was a great learning, a lot of growth. And with that, it's then the transition of now, oh yeah, we're going to sell this business. Okay, how are they going to be set up for success? How are we going to be set up for success as well? And how is the new person that's coming in to buy this business going to be set up for success? And when we came back from Europe and we decided to go to Mexico. So we lived in Mérida, Mexico. And if you don't know what Mérida is, it's actually, which is kind of sad, but it's cool at the same time. That was a place where the dinosaurs got extinct.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you ask like the people there, they're like, what's Mexico, Yucatan about? And obviously the first thing that they're going to talk about is food. But then if you get deeper, you start asking, they're like, yeah, and the dinosaurs, I think the meteor hit Yucatan, and then that created one of the blue zones in the area, and now you can hop in and it's nice. Well, that's what happened, and that's where the dinosaurs lived at one point, which is funny. And when we decided to go back to Mexico, we actually decided for a whole year to stay in Mérida, Mexico. And that year, 2022, was, I believe till this day, it was one of the most transformational years of my life, other than when we met.
Yeah? Why do you feel that year was so transformational for you?
Well, coming from a place of a lot of movement, prior we were living in Europe, and then from there we were living in Florida, and then all of that before then Austin, then before that it was Chiang Mai. It's like a lot of movement. And then when we decided, we're like, you know what, let's commit once again to 1 year, to one place, and let's, feel it out. I think that was very healthy, one. And then two, the apartment that we got was really nice. So we had such great spaces. That balcony was awesome.
Yeah.
And we just created new habits. And this is what I'm really excited to share. It's like, because of how our upbringing was, and then how we got put into the business that we first started, and all of that movement. Okay, and then now we're like, we got to sell this thing. There came a lot of, maybe it's called baggage. I learned that it was called burnout later on, right? But I've experienced it. I had no clue what that was. I felt it. I was tired all the time. I was almost like, not depressed. I wouldn't say like depressed, but I wasn't motivated. I just didn't know myself anymore. And that was something that I've never experienced ever, because I was always like focused on something. And it's not something that shows up like, like a mark on your skin or like anything. It's more like you feel it internally, and you start letting go of things, and you don't know where you're going. And at least that's what happened to me. Okay. I want to share this because I know that now that I know what that was, I know that I'm not alone.
Yeah.
In that. And for anyone that has felt burnout or felt some form of depression or anxiety or some sort of extreme imbalance in their life, both physically and mentally, I just want you to know that you're not alone. And there's always sunshine after that rain, that storm, and I'm grateful that you were in my life and you were able to hold me when I just felt like I needed to run away all the time.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also, like, from what I remember, I think it was just a lack of, like you mentioned, like, as also you're a generator, there's something that you want to be working on or focused on, or maybe you feel like all of your life there's always been work involved in, like, I have to work. So now, since we kind of let go of the business, now it's like, now what? And you don't know. You're kind of waiting to respond to something. So it's like more of like it's a stillness of like a patience. Maybe there's not always something to be doing, but that's why that time was so powerful, is because you kind of have to let yourself to relax in the uncertainty and the unknowing, and kind of be patient for something to respond to, or for something to come where that's your next path.
Yeah.
So I think that could be an uncomfortable position, because you're like, what's my purpose? And then all these voices come. What am I doing? What am I worthy of this? What is the point here? When it could be really just like a time for stillness. Do you think that could have been,
Yeah. I know that it was definitely a time for stillness. I definitely have to credit stillness as being one of the greatest gifts on earth. The Power of Now. Eckhart Tolle, like, you have to read that book. And once you do, you're going to realize that stillness is a medicine. Stillness is being in the present moment, is about living. And when you are going so hard and just grinding it out, and you're just like a NASCAR with just going 100 miles an hour every single day, and then all of a sudden there's a stop. I mean, your mind is still going. My mind, I have a very active mind.
Yeah.
So my body's trying to catch up to that mind. But my body is like, girl, wake me up tomorrow. Like, let's, let's circle back a next time.
Yeah. But what was amazing about that time is that's when we really launched Billionaire, right? Where we made the decision that we're going to read 2 books every single month, for this year. We decided that in January when we moved in Merida, Mexico. 1 on personal freedom and 1 on financial freedom.
Yep.
So in the next episode, I want you to dive into both dive into how that, impacted us and others, but what that did for you of reading 2 books every single month for a year. So let's dive into that. I'm definitely excited. We'll see you in the next episode. All right? Cheers.
We are your hosts, Vanessa and Isabel.